Hello, everyone. Hi. Welcome to Sunday practice with me. I'm Simone, Yoga with Simone. And welcome to YIN practice today. We have a playlist today. It's today's date, YIN Sunday, April 25th. It's on the top of all my playlists at the very top on Spotify, and my handle name, as a reminder, is my friend Simone. Yin is super juicy and good for being super comfortable. You can rock socks if you want, and cozy sweaters. We're going to sit in poses for a bit of time today, so there's space to be comfortable, and there's also space to really land in our practice of stillness and listen to what that gives us. It's a very mindful practice. So hopefully you'll enjoy that for this Sunday. A little heads up announcement to those that come to class all the time, 3 times a week. There won't be a practice this Wednesday, which will be the date of April 27th. If you want to continue a live practice, that is, if you want to continue your practice on that day, there's plenty of flow classes, or yin if you wanted to make Wednesday a yin, or yang yin and hatha. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on my YouTube channel, and you can play any of the classes that suit you. But I won't be recording a live class that day just because I'm actually getting a second dose of my vaccine, and I'm a little, just want to make space for being in rest in case it knocks me over a little bit. So heads up on that. And yeah, let me know how you guys and your practice is going. I get some emails sometimes and some notes and some chats on this website, but essentially enjoy this yoga with Simone on YouTube and let me know how it's going for you. Got 1 minute before we start. You can get your devices ready. If you're going to be using a playlist, you can have your water nearby. 2 blocks for practice. And we are hitting that 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern, so we're going to get started in just about 30 seconds. I'll give it another beat. Another beat. All right, guys, we're going to get started with our practice this morning. Hopefully you have 2 blocks if you're joining live. If you've got your device, just going to count down the music before getting into our first pose. So counting down for 5, 4, 3, 2, today's playlist, Yin Sunday, April 25th, and 1, hit play. First official pose of our practice today. You're going to take your blocks and put them underneath your hands in a tabletop. And step your knees wide and your toes to touch. And set your butt down and slide your hands forward so they peek in front of your blocks. And you can feel that your forearms are resting on the block. And your hands are out in front of the block, so there's a little bit of a pull into the arms as you set your butt into child's pose and raise your arms off the mat. And just notice the sensation of opening through the shoulders. Maybe feeling like your arms are a little longer in the pull. And then simultaneously let go of your seat and your sit bones grounding a little closer to your heels. And in this shape, you've afforded yourself some space, especially as you get still and quiet. And you might close your eyes, but even notice what's behind those eyelids. What the general kind of vision is. If thoughts pass by, are they visual thoughts? Do they conjure up something? And everything that you're mindful for or to, anything that you become aware of, whether it's a thought or an image, whether it's an idea or a word, really good to be aware to that and then shift from noticing to a breath in and a breath out. And for the last little bit of time here that we hold, maybe turning your head to the right so you can feel the right side of your head ground onto the mat, or the left side of your head if you're turning it to the right. And just notice anything that might have opened up or shifted. And then rolling on to your forehead to make your gaze go the other way. Kind of grounding towards almost that temple area if you're able to set your head completely down. And as you look the other way and open up a little bit through the neck body, just feeling that. And then rolling back to center. Taking a grounding of almost your third eye and forehead onto the mat. And then a final breath across your upper back into your armpits, down the length of your spine into the creases of your hips. And fully letting the breath go. Sliding your hands towards your knees and essentially sliding your hands onto the blocks to create a bend in the elbows. And that bend may let the elbows just fall gently onto your mat. Certainly give you more space in your shoulders for a beat. And then lift your head and come off of the bum, off of the heels, onto a tabletop. And walking your knees into hip width distance rather than quite as wide. And we'll shift into a downward face dog just to have a little beat of making the legs long and feeling the space you might have gotten in your shoulders here. Downward face dog can have the hands onto your blocks. If that doesn't work for you, you can put your hands flat to the mat. And then come back down onto the knees. And you're going to put your blocks up towards the top of the mat. Get rid of them for a beat. And bring yourself down onto belly shavasana, prone pose. Except put your forearms on the mat to create Sphinx. Your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. Your hands are about shoulder width distance. And just feel this ground here and use this to kind of pull the heart forward and up, almost like you're up dogging a bit. And then you might need to send your left hand a little more forward and off the mat to get your left arm long and press up. And then thread your right arm underneath quite a bit till you can lay down, heart flat to the floor. And we call this a bit of crushed wing. Real generous opening through the outside of the right shoulder. You can take your left hand and put it underneath your chin, or you can put your forehead on that left hand. You can also look to the left and put your right cheek down on your left hand like a pillow. And as you give yourself over to this pose, what's really important is to feel the weight of your belly and heart fully to the mat. Grounding into opening up through that outer right shoulder. Take a couple more breaths. And then start by lifting your head off of your left hand. Pressing into your left hand to slide your right arm out. Maybe making fists with your fingers, especially on that right hand. Moving the fingers around. And then setting down the hands into your Sphinx pose and pausing here. And then using the grounding of the elbows to do that thing about pushing the earth away and pulling the heart forward and up to get a deeper stretch in your Sphinx pose. And breathing into that, breathing out. Feeling softness through the thighs and the glutes, just resting into it. Even though you're pulling your heart forward and up a bit, resting the belly and the pelvic floor heavy. And then again, you can walk your right hand this time forward and off your mat to press down. And as you press down into that right hand, you'll thread your left arm through. Start to feel the crushed wing. And then maybe use that right hand to meet your forehead, your chin, or your left cheek. As you notice anything that might pop up, sometimes it's directly linked to the physical experience. Sometimes it's a little wandering of the mind and heart. Can you be mindful to what is and then shift into breath in and out? Take another big breath in and out. Maybe using the exhale to feel for heaviness through the front body onto your mat. And then you're going to lift your head off of your right hand. Press down onto your right hand enough to slide your left arm out. And then get up on your forearms again for the Sphinx. Hands pressed down. You might feel that setting of the elbows grounding enough to pull your heart forward and up and get a little inch of stretch in. And then in this Sphinx pose, if it's available in your lower back, you can bend your legs and kind of keep that bend of the legs. Feet free in the air. A little more pull into that lower back and also across the front lower belly pelvic floor region. Just feeling that. Take another big breath in. Really feel how it meets the shape. It changes it a bit. And stay for the breath out. And put your legs down slow. Set them down. And then just making sure you have enough room. You can move your body a little bit to the edge of the left side of the mat. And then as you lie your heart down, extend your right arm to what I call to be 3 o'clock. So your fingertips are pointing straight ahead at 3 o'clock. And then you'll use your left hand underneath your left shoulder, your heart, and you're going to roll open here to stack your left hip on top of your right, a kind of fetal position. Some folks will really stack that left hip on top of the right, and some folks will do a little less so. Doesn't have to be exact. What has to be working is that you don't feel too much of a pull on that right shoulder. The girdle is opening up enough, but not too much to feel a sensation of sharpness. You're just enjoying a little sensation here of what we call broken wing. What's really important to show up to is just to notice what the rest of the body is doing. So you're aware of the sensation in your shoulder, but can you soften through the legs and the glutes and the jaw for the last little bit of time here? I'm going to roll back onto our belly. And then I'm going to allow you find whatever shifts in your body that you need to make to rest up through that right shoulder girdle and even through the arm. So you can find a sit and kind of movement through the shoulders. And you can notice the difference. You could even get into child's pose or a downward facing dog just to feel a little letting go of what happened in that last shape of broken wing. And you could also freely move that right arm, especially in circles. And you could also do the left arm just to feel the difference. To have a little bit of awareness into how your body is affected by these last couple of poses, but especially our broken wing on that right shoulder girdle. Be deliberate and especially sweet and slow. And then make your way back to your belly, guys. And as you come back to your belly, move your body to the right side of your mat, kind of the edge, so you have some room. And then extend the left arm to what I would call 9 o'clock here, left fingertips at 9 o'clock. And then you can use your right hand and roll open. I like the fetal position with the legs because I can relax a little more. And you can roll open as much as permitted into that left shoulder and arm. And so a little goes a long way, and bodies are different. You might not look like I do, right? Don't aim for a place that isn't honest in your body. This is a practice of meeting yourself where you are. It always is, but it especially is the case in these yin practices where we have a little more space and time to witness what we need. You're just taking a big breath in. And a slow breath out. And then allowing your body to slowly roll back onto the belly. Releasing the left arm out of that opening. And again, shifting to wherever you want to be. So I kind of like to feel how the arm just kind of hangs after this. And you can take yourself into a child's pose or a downward dog. Or you can make circles with your arms and just notice anything that's opened up or freed up. You're especially looking for the change in your left arm now, but sometimes being able to see that more clearly means looking for how the right arm moves. Just witnessing the whole expression of the body. I'm going to come back down to the knees. And you're going to step the knees together and sit on your shins with your shoelaces to the mat. And you're going to just kind of roll, slow and steady, to get your forehead and your head pretty close to your knees. So you kind of cocoon in. And there's just a bit of space that opens up into the back body, in less of a lengthy expression and more rounding in. And then what's cool about that is as you've rounded into this and you've got all these pockets of space that open up in your spine, when you breathe in and out, but especially in, you'll feel a kind of stretch into the vertebrae of your spine. When you breathe in, you might notice how your chest kind of presses up against your legs a little more. As you breathe out, could you notice how the weight of your body settles into your mat a little more? Arms are resting heavy, cocooning you in. Couple more breaths. You can start to be a little more active with your arms and pick up your elbows off the mat, and then take your hands behind you and interlock them at the base of the spine. And try and bring the heels of the hands together, and as you roll your shoulders back, try and straighten out your arms. So still resting everything else to the mat, but the knuckles start to go up to the sky, and for some really open shoulders, they start to go forward towards the top of your mat, where your head is. Take another breath or two. And then feel the grounding of knees, shins, and your shoelaces to the mat. Push the mat away to roll up slow out of that with your interlocked hands intact until you're a straight spine. And you maybe set those interlocked hands closer to your bum and heels of your feet. And then let that go slow and steady. And you can roll out the shoulders. And just feel gentle, sweet, and steady movement. And just to give a little sweet release also to your ankles, your feet, your shoelaces, take your hands out in front. You can put your hands on your blocks if you want, or straight up onto the mat, and find a downward face dog. And witness the down dog. So if you're witnessing, maybe you're still, and you're just feeling for how it's a little more evolved than when we first got in. How your shoulders feel, how your arms feel, especially. And how you've opened up your ankles here, and how you've freed some space in your body to breathe in and out. Fresh flow of oxygen, blood flow, and I'd argue perspective. As you come into your down dog, I'm only going to switch directions so that I'm facing the camera. But we're going to lie in the fetal position. And I'm doing the left side. I'm just making sure that your props, or at least one of your props, is near. So that might mean, like me, you get out for a sec. And then as you take your fetal position again, just clock that. Lay in, sweeten in. And make this really kind of a cocoon fetal position. So the knees are a bit high, more in line with your hips. And then keep the shape of your legs and roll your chest open so that you can ground quite significantly through your upper back, right shoulder blade included in that, to the mat. And so in doing that, it might just forcibly pick up your top knee. And if that happens, you can use your prop Slip it in between your thighs to make up the space so that you can ground through your top knee and thigh as you open into this twist. And the cool thing about having your knees this high in fetal position and then twisting open into this is that it really generously gets into your torso, your upper body, your spine, and it feels a little more significant maybe than other twists. And then remember to let your body go. You're not holding, quote unquote, a pose. You're letting go into the shape. So once you've found the systems of support, this block or prop in between your thighs, and the grounding of your upper back, both shoulder blades to the mat, let go into those systems of support. And just enjoy the stillness of here and the ability to be in this shape a little longer. Let go. Try not to need more from this moment except to let go. And if your eyes are closed, just opening them up and staying sweet through that. And then actively lifting the top leg and setting that foot down onto the mat so your knee looks up. If you have a prop on your thigh, just getting rid of that prop, keeping it nearby, and rolling slow and steady onto your back. And lengthening out the legs, roll onto your back. Just going to move my mic around. You might hear that a bit. And as you settle onto your back body, just feeling what that settling is like. Noticing the sides of your body. Noticing your back body heavy to the mat. Keep giving in to releasing. Once again, holding yourself in this shape. But you're deliberately letting go. You're going to make your way slow and steady to the fetal position on the other side. And I'm just kind of switching up to include visual that you can see. And again, as you squeeze your knees pretty high towards your hips, and just letting that cozy you up. And then from the knees pretty high, you're just going to roll open. And you may notice right away are way different. So as I roll open into my twist, my top leg lifts a lot. So I might need to adjust how I put that prop between my thighs to really support it. What you're looking for is a real grounding of your upper back body, especially that shoulder blade. That might, for some reason, feel like he needs to get up. And then as you ground through the upper back body in your twist, supporting that top leg so that you don't have to hold it up or use your hand to press your thigh down. You can just let go. Allowing yourself maybe 3, maybe even 5 more breaths. And as you step the left foot onto the mat, or that top foot if you're doing a different side, left knee or top knee, and then removing your prop if you've got one for support. And slowly rolling onto your back body. To let go and be final in Shavasana, a neutralizing of the spine, lengthening out here. I'm trying to stay here for a little longer, guys. Maybe being deliberate about how long. 20 more cycles of breath. So that you can feel the work that you've done and how it lands in the simplest of poses and the most neutral of them. We'll see you on Friday of next week for a live class. And enjoy your day. Take care of yourself. Namaste.